Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Meg Ruler 31. We have Pocono Race, 160 laps, tricky triangle. Track's probably 45 minutes away from my house, but the weather looks good this weekend, so excited about that. No, I'm not going. I have to work my other job today. I head off on vacation tomorrow, so I wanted to get some things wrapped up. I'll make it to the one thing that you guys probably don't know about me, which I've said a couple times to the viewers, but I've never been to a NASCAR race. Um, I enjoy watching it and following it statistically and betting on it and playing DFS and doing content on it, but never ever been to a race. So I'll get there one day. Pocono would probably be the smartest one to go to, but I don't really love it for a DFS perspective. Like the truck race was okay, but and then I did profit on that. Xfinity was a disaster, especially with the wreck at the end of the race. The wreck in the truck race actually helped me, and I know it hurt a lot of people. So again, I was just hopefully this is more of a DFS race where a lot of what we think we know plays out, and we can profit from it in cash, and maybe take some shots in GPP and have it pay off. But how this race plays out is with 160 laps, you usually only have 1 to 2 dominators. You don't really see somebody lead more than 50 laps. It's usually spread out. It is kind of harder to pass up front, but like it is a place differential race, but not something where you're like a plate race where you want to stack the back completely. You do want to take some shots up front. And it's a strategy race too. A lot of it's been won on fuel mileage. So whoever can figure out the best or come with the best strategy or pit early and get the fuel to keep the track position and be able to hold on and conserve enough fuel towards the end and hope it pays off and there's no overtime. And we've seen people do that, and there have been overtime and multiple cars run out of gas. So it makes it quite interesting here. So we'll get to the breakdown on this. As you're looking at my screen, you're probably thinking, why are all those guys colored in red? Some of you have already figured out what it is, and some of you are still probably questioning it. So let's go over that, and we'll get that out of the way. And we talk about this a couple times when we have races where practice and qualifying are split up into different groups, and there's different weather conditions. And today, during the practice for Group A, it was bright and sunny. When B went out there, the clouds came over, it got overcast, it cooled the track down, it made for faster speeds. So let's rank the faster speeds and look at the disparity. Almost all the people in Group B were in the faster times because the conditions were better, and almost all the people in Group A had worse times. So this tells us that we need to take practice with a grain of salt, but it also tells us the people that we see with the ace that had the faster practice time are potentially people that did really well because they overcame the conditions. And then people like Briscoe and Custer here potentially were in the better conditions, but had slower practice times. And there are a couple of reasons for that too. So just something I just wanted to kind of highlight before I went through the field for you. Okay, so how am I going to approach this race? Like I said, place differential, and if you look at where my prime plays are, you'll see that that's a key. But I really want to try to nail the guy up top, and I actually built 3 cash lineups that I really like, having my prime core and some of the same value plays in and rotating between 3 guys that I really like up top here. And I think that's how I'm going to go with 3 cash lineups, potentially a 4th one. So I usually play in multipliers. So I'll probably spread out my money in double ups and multipliers on there. And then, I'll take some shots on some other lines and some GPPs. So William Byron up top looked good in practice. Of course, he was in the faster section. He's put himself in places to win races. We know that, start out had was fire early in the season. He's come back into form again. The only thing that he has faded in some races, like he's qualified really well and then just starts to move towards the back. And any of these 10K price tags, I'm warning you, you're gonna have to probably nail somebody that's going to lead laps and get fast laps and those bonus points, or they're not going to pay off their price tag for you. So, but Byron here, he's leading the race is a huge advantage here if he can get out ahead of Truex, who's next to him, because it's hard to chase the race leader down. You know, it's not impossible. We saw Kyle Busch make a masterful pass at the end of the truck race, and we saw some passing Xfinity up front also, with Barry just dominating, but Allgaier being able to catch up to him eventually and overtake him a couple times, like at points of the race. So I'm not saying it's impossible. Now, Allgaier didn't hold the lead after that, and you know, Chase Elliott got up front too, but that was more like I think pit strategy and stuff. But so things towards the end of the race, but during the early race, if it runs without a caution and things go well, even though we saw like in the truck race there's a caution on like lap 4, and then I think there's an early Xfinity one too. So, but anyways, Byron and Truex, I think you want to start here, and those are two of the guys that I'm putting in my split up cash lineups to be the dominator. They look good in practice, even though they're in the faster time, but they've just been good overall recently. Truex is you know, on a winning streak here, and you know, the recent races has done really well. So I think I like both of them up top. Larson's a GPP. Could he go out there and be the guy? And he's the fourth guy that I like. Do I build the cash line and split things 4 ways, or do I just kind of throw the same concept but just throw Larson in and make it a GPP? And maybe one of my other value plays, just swing for the fences on somebody else, just to kind of differentiate in case, like, you know, take one of the prime plays out. And if I did, it'd probably be Kyle Busch in that build, and replace him with somebody else, and just kind of like, you know, change up the line a little bit. So I have some of the solid base guys that I'm looking at for replace differential, but then switch some things up with a Larson line and see how that goes. And I think I'll probably have just talked myself into doing that. Kevin Harvick, he's always run really well here at this track. Knows it well. He's starting a little bit too far forward here, so he's got to be a GPP for me. Like, he did have long run speed in the top 9 here, so that's good. He didn't seem to have as much fall off, so I think I'm gonna definitely play him in some GPP lines, because I think he really wants to get a win at one of these tracks to cap off his career. And again, I think this track is a decent shot at that. Christopher Bell, GPP here. He just, his pit crew has just lost him so many positions. You know, I was just looking at the stats for that. And this is a strategy race, and they got to be like firing on all cylinders here. So, you know, he was in the slower practice time, so I can't really hold practice against him too much. The Toyotas have looked good. You know, he's run well on this track. So there's a lot of things pointing to the positive, but I think it's more of a GPP, just because I fear that if his pit crew screws up and he gets like down in the 20s, then he's going to kind of tank my day, you know, with losing the place differential, and that's golden in this race. Joey Logano, 8,800. Love the price here. I think he's going to have lower ownership. He's just been off the season. The Fords have been bad in this package. But again, he and his crew chief are a really good strategy racer. So I think with fuel mileage and stuff, he's been really good on that. So I think, you know, I'll take some shots of him in tournaments and maybe in the Larson line, see if he's the one that I can get in with him, just because I do like how he plays strategy. But I think he's definitely somebody in GPP. Tyler Reddick might be somebody else I'd consider in the Larson line, because he was number 1 in practice, even though he was in the faster one, but his fall off speed was good also. He's 23.11. All the Toyota cars looked really fast and really good. So He's definitely someone that I'll consider if he can run a clean race and not make any mistakes. And I know he likes the high groove, running close to the wall, so hopefully that doesn't cause him to run into one of the walls. Just the way the track's set up, or have a tire issue or something like that, getting up in the gravel there. So Reddick definitely in play. Denny Hamlin is the third guy that I'm going to split my cash with, because he was the fastest guy in the in the group A, which was the slower practice time. So if he could look that good in the worst conditions, then I think he's got a really fast car here. And he's done well here. He's won here. He's dominated here, especially during like the COVID years. So definitely, like, he and Harvick had like the fastest cars back, like in those races when they did like the doubleheader back to back thing. So definitely like Denny Hamlin, really like Denny Hamlin here. Austin Cindric's a GPP, starting way too far forward. Again, the Fords haven't been, he's almost a fade here, but I know you need some value. And if you think that it's going to be hard to pass and he can hold his place, then he'll be fine. He was in the slower practice, so can't hold that a ton against him. 59 under the price tag is good, but the results just haven't been great this season. So probably gonna be out on him. Bubba Wallace, he did look really good in practice and in qualifying, but he did end up hitting the wall. And they say there's not much damage. They're not going to go to a backup car, but I don't know. They say they're going to fix it, but I think I'd rather have him start in a backup car or make the adjustments and go to the backup field without having like potentially unknown damage that can manifest itself. So I can't play him in cash, and I don't know about GPP. So I have him as a fade, but if you want to throw him in some GPP lines for mass multi-entering, that's fine. I do it above a 20 max. Again, I don't have a good feeling. He was fast here, but I've seen him struggle at Pocono before, so I just don't think this is a track for him. So I'm just off of Bubba Wallace this week. Ty Gibbs, a GPP, like, he's done well here in Xfinity, the short time that he raced. So I think you can consider Ty Gibbs. Again, all the Gibbs cars and Toyota cars have been fast here, so is he a top 10 car? I don't know. He's saying top 15. I think so. So, keep him in your player pool if 20 max and 150 max. Corey LaJoie, like, he was in the faster practice session. He's really taken a step forward and become a, a, a good race car NASCAR driver here. He's not one of the back markers, and he does a lot with the equipment he's in. So just imagine putting him in some really good equipment, how he could do. So hopefully somebody will give him a shot at some point. I know, like, I'm trying to think of a Chevy. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But anyways, he's a fade. He's just started way too far forward. I can't do it. Kozlowski, a GPP, he was in the slower practice time. He has had some success here, but hasn't been, the Fords haven't been fast overall in this package. So that's why it's not a cash play. Blaney's GPP, borderline cash play. Again, he's probably the best out of the Fords in this package. Like, he had the second fastest time next to Denny in the bad practice session. So, I mean, that bodes pretty well for him. I'll definitely have him in some lineups because I like the place differential. He's decent with strategy, and he's so close to being a cash play, but at 98, I just couldn't do it. So GPP for me. Michael McDowell, I see him on the local news a lot. Like, I thought, like, maybe is he from Pennsylvania? He's from Phoenix, Arizona. So I don't understand, like, why. Maybe he's just the only one around available for interviews that they could get from some of the local channels. So, but I don't love him. I don't hate him here. Practice time was a little bit slow, but he was in the bad group. 6K even isn't a bad price for him. So, if he's last guy in your cash lineup, if that's what you can afford, then if it's a choice between taking he Cindric, you're getting like better place differential there. LaJoy, I see McDowell staying up better, and we don't play Harrison Burton, so that's just out of the question. AJ Allmendinger, I think another GPP here. He did look decent in practice with and some of the braking in this is similar to road course, and we all know he's a really good road course guy, so that bodes well also. So there's a lot of upside here for him, but he's starting a little bit further forward than I'd like him to. Probably a top 20 car, but I would have liked him outside the top 20 for place differential. So I don't think there's a ton of ceiling here. So a GPP for me. General Suarez, I know he's been slower recently, but he looked okay here. He's been good on this track. So I think in cash in the 7K range, he's definitely a solid play for you. You're going to need some plays like this to be able to and he's trying to get into the playoffs. So we've got some races before then, but everybody's trying to jockey for position to be above the cut line just in case like multiple people continue to win races and the window closes for those automatic bids. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament. You want to do, for all those like mid majors that win their conference title, they could knock out like some of the better teams. Busher, I think, is a similar play here also. He's in a Ford, but I'm okay with it because, he looked fast, even though he was in the faster practice. He had really good fall off, and I just, in context with the other Fords, I think he and Blaney are the ones that I trust the most in cash. And, there is a nice little mid-range here in the 7Ks between like Suarez and Busher and Bowman. I'll get to in a second. Justin Haley, shocking news this week. He's leaving Colleague. I don't know if it's on his accord or on Colleague's accord. We thought that he was had a decent racing relationship with them. So, but he's going to Rick Ware Racing. So, I don't know if it's Rick Ware investing in a good driver to try to take their program to the next level, or Collie not being happy with the success of Haley and he losing his ride and Rick Ware just being the opportunity. So I don't know if it's a lesser team trying to get a better driver to try to propel them forward, or a case of a lesser team, for a driver that struggled a little bit to try to build himself back up. Don't know what's going on there, but that's what's going on. So who's this car going to? And I've seen some rumors out there, but like it's a Chevy, so why not Corey LaJoy? Give him a shot. You've seen what he's done. The colleague program is definitely a better program than Spire. So, I'd like to see that, but we'll see who ends up in that. Maybe some Xfinity person will come out, or maybe it'll be somebody completely random off the wall. But we're getting close to that silly season, so it's always fun. So, but as for this race, Haley's a GPP here. Was slower in the good practice sessions, so not super interested here. Bowman, I think, is definitely a cash play. I think it'll be highly owned. Didn't have great like fall off speed, but he's in the hunt for playoffs and needs some decent points and some really good finishes. So, and I think he's definitely a top 15. You can get up in the top 10. We've seen him do some good things to put himself in position to even win races where he hasn't even had the best car. His crew chief is good in strategy. He's good in conserving fuel. So everything adds up to him being a really good play, especially at 7,900. Ross Chastain at 10K. There's a lot of place differential here. He's probably one of my favorite GPP plays on the board, but he didn't really look great in speed-wise in practice, irregardless that he was in the slower period. He just didn't look great there. So, but I think there's a lot of upside. I probably really like Stenhouse over him. That's why I'm as a cash play. Like Stenhouse has looked solid. He looked like he had really good fall off. He was actually ranked 9th in 10 lap average. So he's one that I would consider over a lot of some of these value plays here. I think there's enough room on this track, and I think he's toned it down a lot and become like a solid race car driver through the course of this season. So I think definitely he's one that I'll consider in cash builds and helps you try to get some of these prime plays in a 10K guy up front and balance out your lineup. Dylan, same thing. He's $1,000 more. Like I kind of like Stenhouse a little bit better, like because the cars are in the same range here and they're pretty much identical and like in practice and everything. But Dylan was like a little bit better than Stenhouse, but he was in the better session. So I don't like playing Dylan a ton, but I think this is a track where he can do good and gets the place differential and pay off his tag. Almirola gets the GPP just being the Ford. I think of low ownership. Again, didn't was almost one of the slowest ones in practice. I think looking the numbers. When JJ Yaley's in the same practice group and it has faster times, and I think there's a problem. So I don't think I'll be playing a ton of Almirola. Eric Jones, I like. He has been up and down this season, but here I think at 6,700, he's got some upside. He's done well at this track before and gotten up in the top 10. So I think there's some place differential at a decent price also here. Kyle Busch has got to be a prime play. He knows his track well. He's got 4 wins here, I believe, and he's got like 2 in the Truck Series and 1 Xfinity. Ran the Truck Series, ran well. The car is good. He spun out a little bit in qualifying, had really good practice times. Second fastest, of course, it was in the faster group, but still, I think he's definitely one that I'll consider for as a prime play, and I think a building block here. If you think he's too volatile, that's fine, but I think there's definitely some place differential. And he had one of the fastest cars last year, even though they got disqualified. He and Hamlin, I think it's a different team this year in a different situation. I think he really knows his track will be fine. Harrison Burton, I don't play. He's the human caution flag. Just who spins out, will run into the wall, will take somebody out, and so hopefully it's not Kyle. But that would be a great after race showdown if the two of them do take each other out. Chase Briscoe, GPP here. Again, Ford just haven't been fast. 6,800. If you look at the people around him, I just don't want to pay that much. JJ Yaley, if he was starting like dead last and there's a little bit of place differential, but I think he's going to lose places. Same thing with BJ McLeod, even though he was 16th fast in practice, it was in the good session there. I don't think he's going to be able to hold his speed, nor is it his style. He's just out there on Sunday to turn some laps and to earn some money to fund his Xfinity team. So Custer, I like, other than getting taken out in a wreck in Xfinity, he was having a good day. It is a Rick Ware car, so like the speed's not always there. And I know he's one of the slower speeds and one of the in the better group, but at 5,200 with some place differential and some of the attrition that I think you're going to see around him, I think he can hold his position, if not gain a couple. So I'm okay with him in cash. Gregson, you just wishing the season was over, probably wishing he never came up. Like he was so dominant last year in Xfinity. What, he won like 9 races, and this year he hasn't been in the top 20 since I think really early in the season. So I don't really like playing Gregson even as a value play. It's just I think they'll give him another year in this car to try and see how it works with moving to Toyota and everything next year. And after that, I think that maybe he'll drop back down to Xfinity for a little bit, kind of like John Hunter Nemechek did. Came up a little bit too early, and then maybe he needs to go back down to Trucks or Xfinity to kind of get his footing again before he works his way back up to Cup. Ty Dillon, maybe kind of interested in it. 4,800, definitely more interested in Noah Gragson. I think Gregson, McLeod, Yaley. So I can see enough guys finishing below him that he potentially doesn't lose any place differential. At 4,800, it's a decent price tag. So if you need him as a fill-in, I'm fine. Ryan Preece, I really like this one, starting 34th. He has a ton of upside, even though he's in the Ford. I think he can definitely 19th in practice. 6th in long run speed. Messed up his qualifying. I believe he ran the truck race too, so he's got some extra laps in this weekend here. So definitely think that he can move up and do well in this race. So I love him there. And then Chase Elliott, he's got to be 50-60% owned. Everybody's probably going to have him in their lineup, probably potentially one of the higher owned drivers this season when it comes to ownership, just because of how chalky he's going to be. And at 9,600, you just got to eat the chalk and play it as a block kind of in cash and GPPs. If you think he gets wrecked early on or has some kind of mechanical issue or something, and then that gives you huge leverage against the 50-60% of the field that has him. But I think that you just kind of got to play Chase Elliott here. He's been very good on this track. He ran the truck race or the Xfinity race and did well there. I think that was more of just like kind of an exhibition and a chance to go run an Xfinity more than like you would need to practice here or anything. But he needs some wins, and definitely will be trying to do whatever he can to get a win to make it into playoffs, because I don't think he can point his way in. I think it's statistically impossible. And Gillian, again, is the Ford and was slow in practice, but I'm going to give him the prime tag because he has no place to go but up. So you need place differential. He's 5,400. He opens up a lot by playing him here to get the guys in that you want. So that's what I got for you. I don't know why my camera's jumping. Sorry about that. It's getting annoying to even me. So hopefully you're just looking at the numbers on the screen and not watching me flicker. But anyways, if you have any questions, put them in the chat below. You can hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter. Now I completely disappeared. So hopefully you can still hear my voice. But anyways, if these videos help you, then please subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. You're doing a great job. Some of these videos I know I'm getting out on Sunday morning, Saturday night. It's just a really, really busy weekend, and I apologize. Just trying to get ready for vacation and other things going on that I couldn't get out early, but hopefully you have enough time to watch this before the race. So enjoy your weekend, enjoy the race. You know how to get a hold of me if you want more information on FSide DFS. It's in the description of the video, so you can just go into the description there, go to our website, sign up for our package. It's really cheap and affordable. And next week we have Richmond. If you didn't watch any of my other videos, I have some teeth that I have to have pulled on Friday, so hopefully I'll be able to talk for the videos. It's kind of inverted. You got Xfinity during the day, you've got a truck night race where it was a day truck race at Pocono here and a night Xfinity race, and then Cup. I think it's a night race also, but it's definitely on Sunday. So if I can't do it, I'll definitely have at least my sheet up for you and some notes and things like that, so you will have some content. So appreciate you watching. Hope you have a good weekend. Good luck in your contests, and I will see you next time.